And we are back at Up North F4. We are back with Ted Rolsey, who is the lake guy. Ted, thank you for coming back on again.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course, and now the lakes, so we're going to talk about lakes changing and how different they are in the spring season. But one thing I want to make note of is springtime on your lake is a season bursting with life. It's perhaps the best time of year to observe and enjoy. So then why the springtime?
Well, because it's appropriate to Easter. It's like a resurrection. Everything just, the lake looks, it's really not dead, but it looks very dead and sterile in the wintertime. Then as soon as the water opens up, things really start to happen.
And just for some context for people at home, you live here in Oneida County on a lake, and you noticed that the ice in your lake is gone already, which, you know, maybe is earlier than I expected.
Yeah, it's earlier than I expected too. We had 26 to 28 inches of ice at the peak, but the wind came up this week and mixed the water around, and that pretty much took care of the ice.
And Ted, let's talk about how different it changes. So the ice melts from the bottom up.
Yeah, what really, the sun shining on the ice doesn't do a lot of melting because the ice surface is so white and so reflective.
Really?
But what happens is the ice begins to open up around the shoreline, and then the sun penetrates the water and heats up that darker colored sediment, and then the water begins to warm up and melt the ice from below, and then warm temperatures, sunlight, and wind are what really accelerate the process.
I had no idea. I would have totally guessed that it would
either.
melt from the top up, but you're saying that top layer might be the last one to go. It doesn't just kind of keep floating up?
I'd say that's pretty much right. Yeah.
And then how does the wind factor into the melting process?
The warmed water gets blown around by the wind, and that helps propagate the heat over the ice and really speeds things up.
And that's probably why rivers, you know, melt earlier too. It's just moving water.
Yeah, that and the moving water, right?
Yeah.
Water that's moving doesn't freeze as well. So.
Yeah, I bet.
And let's talk about, I guess, your lake takes a deep breath.
Yeah, throughout the winter, there's fish and other creatures underwater are using up the oxygen, and the plant matter is still decaying, and slowly the oxygen level in the lake goes down. And then as soon as the ice opens up, the wind and wave action infuses the lake with oxygen. So it's like your lake takes a nice big deep breath.
All right.
Wow.
So muskies and walleye, maybe I'm mixing the two up, but I know at least the walleye, they're going to be breeding right now or very soon?
Yeah, very soon they'll be spawning in the shallow gravelly areas. Muskies actually spawn more in marshy areas, and I'm not exactly sure when exactly they spawn, honestly.
But so the walleyes, they plan for ice, basically ice out? That's how it's wired in their...
Yeah, it's driven by water temperature. Around 45 degrees or so is when they get active, and they come into shore and they spawn. The females lay their eggs, and the males shed their milt over the eggs, and the babies are born.
There you go.
And of course, spring is also a great time because that's when the loons return.
Oh, as soon as the loons are staging right now on the Wisconsin River and other areas of open water, and they'll be making flights over to see if their home lake is open. And when it is, sometimes very soon after, ice out there back and calling out, and they sound happy.
Oh.
Very good. And then you're going to be fishing soon. Is there, you know, a good way to fish early in the springtime? I know we got to wait till all the ice is out and for the season to officially start, right?
Yeah, the season opens on Saturday, May 3rd, and this time of season, I would target walleyes, jig and minnow. That's what I'll be fishing for on Birch Lake.
Okay.
Okay, well, we are going to talk more about the lakes right after this break and his book.
Thanks, Ed.